Well, today is a very exciting day. More FM Auckland is turning 30 years old. Good.
Wow.
Good Lord, I hope there's a cake.
We're old.
And I feel super honoured and privileged to be in this company right now because we are with some radio legends, Lana.
Look, are you going to cry?
No.
It sounded like you're tearing up a little, just choking up.
You can't cry this early, in.
Yeah, too early.
But they haven't even talked yet.
No, haven't said anything.
If you need a minute, we can give you that to start the cry. Okay.
You carry on.
Okay. In the studio, the first ever, the original, the OG More FM Auckland breakfast show, Kim and Corbett, but of course too with Hilary Barry as well in here to celebrate 30 years.
All right, good times.
Hey.
Woo!
Oh, see, well, I have the 16th of August as More FM's birthday, so I don't know what you guys are doing.
Is that right?
Yeah, we were there when it started. I remember 16th of August,
I think we
just
were
after
there.
my birthday. Remember?
That's right. I
Yeah.
remember. The 11th is your
And
birthday.
we
See?
found out the colonials had just landed on the beaches.
That's a long time ago. Yeah. Well, still, we can't really trust you with dates and stuff, Jeremy, because you were like late for this. We were all ready to go, and you weren't even here. So.
Yeah, that's what I do now. It's a power move.
What's it like being in the same room? When was the last time you guys were in the same room together?
Working or drinking. We do get together on a regular basis. Early, maybe after 2000. When did you go to Radio Live? That was the first move. I
Yeah,
think.
do you know what? I'd have to Google it. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
You were taken away from
Mid
us.
2000s.
Yeah.
That's
something
right.
like that.
You were
Yeah.
taken away
Then
from
Paul was taken
I went
away.
to another radio station. I won't say what it's called, but it's similar to a stone. I went to that one in about 2006, I think.
Yeah.
Last year.
So the family broke up, but we
did.
you know, like all relationships, we've sort of kept things, together, haven't
Yeah.
we? The little family does reconvene from time to time,
Yep.
It's nice. We have
mainly over drinks.
It's
yeah,
mainly-
drinks, the odd
yeah.
dinner. We compare pictures of each other's kids. I don't know why we've got
Yeah.
pictures of each other's kids. It's a bit weird. Should have pictures of your own kids. But anyway.
Yep.
So, Hilary, what was it like to be the first to leave, to be Ginger Spice?
Well, just to set the record straight, I wasn't on the original show, so it was just Jeremy and Kimbo to start
good days,
with.
the good days.
And then I hitched my wagon to them in 1998.
Start of the downhill.
1998, such a long time ago. So cheeky. Anyway, but I was the first to leave. It was one of those corporate situations where you could see that they were going to be I don't know how to say it without pissing people off.
They
But
made,
they
you,
were
they
going
made you an offer you couldn't refuse.
well, they were going to sort of, it was obvious that I needed to, they were going to break up the family anyway, so I went to Radio Live and, that was kind of the beginning of the end of the show. And I do remember, not that I want to start on a downer, but I do remember we were all on holiday and I told you guys that I was leaving you. Remember we were in the Coromandel?
and Kim and I high-five.
And-
I remember that.
I sat you down, and I remember my husband saying, I'll leave the house and you can have a chat to them and because we're all holidaying in different houses in the same place, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I sat them down and told them, and honestly, it was like breaking up with a spouse. I didn't want to do it, and it felt so sad. But as I say, we've kept in contact, and the bond is still there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was time to
Jeremy,
move
isn't
on.
it? Isn't the bond still there?
Still there.
He's just looking at me with
If you know
daggers in
Hilary,
his
you
eyes.
just agree. You know, yes.
Jeremy's going, I've
Bond is
never
there.
heard this story. Before Hilary came along, it was just the two of you, Kim and Corbett. So how did that all start up with More FM back then? Because there wasn't a More FM breakfast show before you guys.
No, More FM started in Auckland in 93, was it? Yeah, must
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
if this is that
yeah.
anniversary.
Good maths.
Yeah, it's good. Eh?
maths.
That's good.
Works
The
pretty
maths
well.
guy.
And so I'd produced Kim on previous stations, and then all of a sudden we were sitting across from each other, and the sensei, the great master Kim, sort of taught me how to be on air with him, and that was the beginning.
interesting because
it was the start of the whole station.
We actually did the show for several weeks before we went on air.
That's right.
So we did the show every morning for about nearly 3 months. And then one day they said, we're going to turn the switch on. Bang.
Oh, my God.
So you do it with no one listening.
No one listening. And
We have days like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We still do that, but it is on. Yeah.
I listen to you guys and sort of say to me, and I say not how I would have done it.
Everyone loves that guy. Totally. And that's what I do want to know. Like, how is your show different to radio that you hear these days?
I think the big thing was we didn't have, the internet and even text stuff.
Yes,
So there was less of, the only way people could get in touch and chat to you was phone. So we didn't have that sort of constant interaction, I guess, with the listeners. So it was a bit more, the onus was on us to come up with the entertainment.
Yeah, we had to entertain. Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the series The Tossers?
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember
that's-
hearing the tosses.
Sorry, the tossers. Oh my
That's
gosh.
something we did on More FM, yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was terrible.
I know.
You guys tell the story. It gives me nightmares.
What was it? We either throw
Yes.
your
Yep.
wedding dress into a cement mixer and bury it in cement,
That's the way I remember.
or we
send you off overseas.
send you off overseas to buy a
for a
whole
honeymoon
new
or something.
a new honeymoon. That's
Yeah,
right, and it's all on the flip of a coin.
Yeah.
So a big build up, and then the flip of the coin, and heads. You get this wonderful prize. Tails, we throw your wedding dress in the cement mixer. Another one was we get you a new car, or we drop your existing car from a helicopter. And another one was we send you all to Disneyland.
Yes, this was it. This was the one.
Or one of you has to stay at
One of
home.
them,
So
No, but I
family
think
trip.
we specified that
Yeah.
you had to leave one of the kids,
one of the kids
at
had to
home.
stay at home.
Yeah.
This is
And it was all just done on the toss of a
Yeah.
coin. So
And we had about
huge jeopardy.
We had about 5 of them. Everyone was tails. No one won the prize.
Oh, the one I liked too was you could either get your garden newly landscaped, or they dig up the entire lawn with a digger and just leave it like that.
One more. There was another one.
Yes.
Remember, it was an all expenses paid trip to Hawaii, or we
Or-
fill your house with sand.
Yes.
Oh,
So we backed
And
the
we
truck up
filled
and
the
we
house
filled the
with
house with
sand.
sand.
It was terrible.
So to answer your question, Adam, radio was a lot crueler. in those
Yeah.
days.
That's pretty much.
because I remember seeing some of those videos. So that must have been as the internet was kind of starting to, people
Yeah,
would have
maybe,
started to.
yeah.
I remember the wedding dress one for some reason.
Yeah.
That really.
Yeah, I think because it wasn't enough to throw it in the cement mixer. Didn't we chainsaw it first or something? It was some really
something
weird
like
thing we did to this poor woman's wedding dress.
And like, do you keep trying so you can actually spend the budget on a prize, but you're ruining more and more families along the way to try and get it?
I think that's how the Disneyland ended up. We said we've got to give someone a prize, so we will. Someone is going to Disneyland, but we're just going to ruin the trip if you hit tails by one of the kids not going. And we're pretty much everyone who worked for More FM was saying, "Please don't do it. Please don't do it." Like, yeah.
And so, sorry, what was the
boy.
outcome of the Disneyland one? Like one of the kids had to stay home?
One of the kids was it was horrible on air
Awful.
for
It was awful.
because this young girl, well, she was about 8 years old or something, and she'd been practicing tossing the coin so that she would get heads, and she got tails.
Terrible. I cried.
The look on her face.
So
and
mean.
She just broke into tears. It was
So mean.
felt so small.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I had to hold. We had to stay with the brand. I said, "Oh well, I guess you're staying at home then." They only learn through tough love. This is what.
No, it was awful.
So in the scheme of things, when does Paul Ego turn up?
Right.
Would have been in the 90s. In the 90s,
Yeah, 99, I think I started doing some part-time stuff with you
Yeah,
guys, just writing some scripts and
Yeah, it feels like it might. I thought it might have been a bit before. Anyway, we've been doing a bit of stand-up. We knew each other through the comedy, and got Paulie in to help write, and then we wrote Millennium Moments. So it must have been pre-2000. So the millennium was coming up, and so these were like predictive things, like played from the future of what Jason Gunn was the Prime Minister, things like that. So that was fun.
It was a good series. It was a fun
it was a good series. I think it won an award, that one,
It did.
didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, one of our few.
Good enough to be nominated.
Yeah, but that was nice. I mean, I'd admired Jeremy so much through stand-up and just getting to know. It was like working with your idols. It really was some of the best times of my life, without a doubt.
It was pretty awesome. It was good fun.
Oh,
Then Hilary came along.
Well, the lucky thing for me too was I was just the newsreader. I was never part of the morning crew, and I was thrilled to just be there and read the news and soak it up from these guys. And I think there was a time when, especially when Paul came along, that they thought they'd just bring in a bit of a female voice. But it was an amazing opportunity for me because I'd never been part of a breakfast morning show, and I'd just sit there in between the news bulletins, and if the guys wanted to ask for a female point of view or draw me into the conversation, then I'd be there to sort of contribute. And I learnt so much off all three of them. Like it was such an education for me as a broadcaster, and it's really helped with my career. I should really be giving you guys, some sort of payoff because it was the best training in various things about radio that listeners won't be interested in, but, how to get to the point quickly, which I'm clearly not doing right now. How not to interrupt people too, to shut the hell up and let someone else, don't talk over the top of each other all the time. And sometimes when you tune into a radio show and people don't have that, discipline to just shut up
Why are
and
you
listen.
looking at me when you're saying that?
Anyway, it was the best training in the world, and it's really helped with my career. So can I just take this moment right now, 30 years on, to say thanks for all you taught me.
Oh. Can I say? Can you turn her earphones off so she can't hear this next bit?
Yeah,
Sure, I think we can do that.
and-
Can we, Adam?
yeah,
She was fantastic from day one. Just some people just click. Do you know what I mean? And it's such a wonderful thing, and that's what happened with Hilary. Turn it back on. So, we tried
were you
our
saying?
best, and we sort of moulded,
What
I
did you
guess,
just say?
we made a silk purse out of sow's ear.
Yeah.
So,
You're just saying it didn't work out. Shame it didn't work out.
yeah,
Oh, well.
shame to work out. We gave it 10 years.
Yeah.
It can be hard when someone higher up makes a decision about the future of your show, can't it? I mean, don't worry, we'll pretend that they can't hear this part, but that can be really rough when it's a personal friendship and it's something that you guys, yes, it can make money on air, but also you guys like best buds, and so when that call comes from high above, it must really that sucks, eh?
Yeah, it's really it happened to both Hilary and I think. I was certainly told that I had an interest in going to another station, which was weird because I had no memory of expressing that. But I mean that worked out in the long run. But thankfully, it hasn't affected our friendship, and we do still see each other often, and we're very close. But yeah, it is hard when somebody else decides your future, and it's not really what you want at the time.
I remember we confront the person. Remember, you and I?
We did.
That was interesting. Nothing happened.
But you felt like you could say something. That's
At
the
least
main
we
thing.
said our bit.
At least you guys wanted to. That was really nice.
Was there ever any crossover? You had you guys doing amazing stuff in Auckland, and then of course the South Island equivalent. You had Si and Gary doing their thing in Canterbury and sometimes to Otago. Was there ever any crossover between the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had a wager on the Super 12, it was
That's
called at
right.
the time, Super 12 rugby final, and the loser had to basically parade down the other city's street dressed in tutus. Yeah. And Canterbury won.
Great job.
So Kim and I went down to Christchurch and were driven down the main street wearing tutus, and it was great. I don't think it would have worked the other way around, you know, because Auckland's so sort of spread out and disparate and stuff. But Christchurch was there for it.
They turned out.
They wanted to see you.
They wanted to see us, but in a really good-natured way, and it was
fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it was
we had to fly up in tutus as well.
That's right.
We had to be on
Yep,
the plane
on the
in the
plane.
tutus. That was part of the deal. So thanks, Auckland Blues.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
I do remember a time too, an April Fool's joke, where you went and did the Christchurch show,
that's right.
and Si and Gary came up and did the Auckland show. And as the newsreader, and remember I was providing news bulletins for More FM Canterbury as well as Auckland, so they came up there, and I remember going and getting my coffee first thing in the morning before the show had gone on air, and Gary coming into the kitchen and goes, "Hi, I'm Gary. Who are you?" And I thought, "Oh, you stupid prick! I read your news every morning." And by this, I had a pretty high profile on the TV at this point too. It was towards the end. I just thought, "Oh,
He also has been known to say that to the CEOs of the company.
Yeah.
And what's your name? He thought our CEO was the pot plant cleaner.
Also, that April Fool's gag was something that seemed like quite good as an idea, but all we did was irritate both sets of listeners.
Yeah.
You know, the Auckland
Right.
people wanted Kim and Corbett, and the Christchurch people
Totally.
wanted Si and Gary.
Good morning, More FM.
Look, we got it.
Right.
Brian from Bicknell here.
Hey, Brian.
Is Hilary there?
Hi, Brian."
Easy.
Stop
dribbling. Stop it.
Speaking of showbiz news,
Yeah.
did you hear Billy Joel got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Really?
Yeah. Lost control of his car and sideswiped Gwyneth Paltrow.
I already know him now. Hey, just
Yep.
from that one phone call.
Just that dude.
The kind of guy that would follow Hilary to her car.
Yeah.
What's the thought process behind that when it comes to prepping a show? Do you get to the show in the morning and you're like, "Oh crap, we don't have a 720, Jeremy"? Get Brian.
That's what you're doing constantly, as you guys will know. Harvesting your life for things, and back then, again, pre-internet, we used to, in the snail mail, we would get this thing from the US, which was like a gag sheet that had several gags in it, and we would basically plan 2 or 3 of them for every morning. and, write some of our own, obviously, but it's got such a voracious appetite for material, radio, that you quickly need help.
Yeah.
So we used those sheets from the US. I forget what they were called, but they would arrive on a regular basis.
Jock strip?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Jockstrap, that's a great name.
which led to getting a comedian on board in the shape of Peter Ego.
A well-known Peter Ego.
Peter Ego.
Yeah, but we're very lucky too because we had like a spare studio that we would go to after the show
it was
that Kim
great.
used to sort of run. So Jeremy and Kim and I would sit in there for a couple of hours after the show and just sort of come up with ideas and record things and music beds, and we'd have a couple of clips ready to go for the show for the next day.
Yeah,
because we weren't having so many callers on air like we do nowadays.
Yeah.
We were having to come up with all these pre-produced bits.
Yeah, and we wouldn't leave until we kind of felt like we had a bit of gold for the next morning. We'd just stick around. Some days we'd be there, hours
Till
and hours.
10 o'clock
Yeah,
in the morning.
At least. Or 10 was it 10 p.m. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
But anyway, it was where we sort of created stuff in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's where we used to do Today in History. Remember Today in History? So it's almost like you go through these are the things that happened on these dates, and then we'd basically record some silly audio that we
That's
thought
right.
might have been appropriate for that day.
Well, I've got a Today in History piece of audio to play. So here we go.
From the audio archives now, all the recordings we have in the basement of More FM here. In 1954, British runner Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile.
Roger Bannister, go to your room at once. That 4-minute mile was a gift from my great uncle.
In 1877, Emile Berliner invented the microphone.
Joe Emile, tell us about your new invention. So, what does it do? Okay.
Very good.
That's good.
Very, very good. So yeah, lots of voices, lots of sound effects. A lot of fun to play around with.
I just remember laughing a lot.
Yes.
Laughing a lot. Losing it was always the best. You can't manufacture that, but when it happens, it's magical.
I found a bit the other day, speaking of losing it. So we recorded this radio serial called Bob Bond, which essentially was like, what if James Bond was a Kiwi farmer, right?
Yeah.
So nothing much ever really happened in the episodes. But I did find a bit where Jeremy, you and Kim and I were, for some reason, I can't remember why in the episode, but we were meant to be sheep trying to sing Sister Sledge's We Are Family. And so I think we've got a bit of Bob Bond,
God.
and then it goes into us trying to nail this bit and doing a terrible job of it.
Like an outtake.
Yeah.
Hello, cow, copper.
Yeah, g'day, it's Bob Bond here. How you going, all right?
Yep,
Yeah. Good Christmas and...
not bad. Yeah, down the beach.
Right.
Got a bit of sun. Got quite a tan, actually.
Ah, right. I guess then we could probably call you the cow copper. There.
Or Derek.
Right.
And you hear the finished product from Bob Bond, you don't know the work that goes into it.
Behind the scenes.
Control we have and the mountains we have to climb. Not always that successful. Here's a
No.
example.
Oh, so ridiculous.
So good. It just went on. I think we had about 5 or 6 goes at it and we couldn't do it because every now we'd get about 2/3 of the way through and then Kim would go, we'd just lose our minds.
We're really just entertaining ourselves, weren't we? That's really...
A system malfunction on the Waikato pipeline is under investigation by Watercare Auckland after it was revealed water coming into the city could be contaminated. The presence of the chemical can be detected by introducing citric acid, as found in most orange juices, into the toilet system. If discoloration occurs, householders should call Watercare Auckland for further information.
Yes, it is April Fool's Day.
Yes, it is April the 1st.
And we
today.
have been pretending that you need to check your water in your toilet. And we're sorry.
We've set up a hotline.
Here we go.
Watercare Auckland, good morning.
My toilet's gone orange.
Have you put the orange juice in?
I did, yes.
And what colour has it gone?
It's gone like the colour, when you pee.
How much juice did you administer?
I put in 2 litres.
Watercare Auckland, good morning.
Well, I'm afraid it's not. This is Water Care Services.
Oh, yes.
And we've been listening to the announcements you have been making on More FM. You have said that there is a problem with our water going into every house in Auckland. You've got no time at all but to go on the radio, say that it was an April Fool's joke, and apologise to us. Otherwise, we will be taking legal action against you.
Did you offer him a CD?
I did. I gave him a CD and he was fine, yeah.
Okay.
I'm really, really, really sorry.
Well, you should be.
I'm so sorry.
You started it. You read it in the news first
Yeah,
of all.
yeah, you started it.
Yeah, no, you were
The
the
thing
first
is, I
person.
believed it. You told me it was true.
Who told you?
You guys?
This is serious. Sorry. Okay? No, we are.
So good.
Oh my God.
Always taking things too far.
Oh, I love you, Hilary. You sounded like a little girl there apologising
Really,
for
really
doing
sorry.
something wrong.
Only I totally wasn't.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I always love. Whenever we did apologise for something, we always just played that Chicago song.
Did you ever get in trouble, like actual trouble?
Well, yeah. Toot for Loot got us into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So we'd already recorded 5 of these for a week's worth. The idea being that you stop, obviously at a red light, but when it goes green, you don't move. And then
For
you
every
get
toot,
for every toot you get a certain amount of money. If you get
amazing.
verbal abuse, you get a certain amount. If police turn up, you get even more big bucks.
Big bucks, yeah.
And
we had recorded these.
We recorded them,
Pre-recorded. Yep. We played the first one at 7:20. And the phones went crazy. And our boss got calls from the Minister of Transport.
Yeah, that's right.
From the Auckland traffic head.
we couldn't play anymore. They said, no, it's got to stop it. And we said, they already recorded. They said, it doesn't matter.
Sure, but I still think it's funny now.
We thought it was funny at the time.
It was great. Well, we were blamed for every traffic. So then at 8:20, we said, let's do the next one. That's when we got in trouble.
Nowadays, you can just put it on a podcast, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's funny because back then, it didn't make international news online, but it did make international news. Was the BBC wanted to get in touch? Yeah.
Kim, what are you doing with yourself now?
Not a lot.
Yes, you are.
He's training the people who are going to take your jobs.
Yeah, essentially.
Because we see you here all the time.
Yes, No, I bring students through. I'm sort of training at the New Zealand Radio Training
Amazing.
School. So, still sort of hanging in there, doing that.
That's cool. Like to have a legend like you teaching them. I hope they know how lucky they are.
I hope so too.
I'll bloody tell them.
There's actually, if you look around, there's actually quite a few old students here, which is neat when you look around the studios. Yeah.
Well, they're lucky to have you. That's yeah.
I agree. I agree, Lana. He's an amazing brain, an amazing broadcaster too. I mean, we used to have a lot of American consultants would come down to New Zealand to tell us what we should do. And they loved Kim. They couldn't get over how good this guy was. That didn't want to hear the sound of his own voice. Had this amazing ability to wrap up a break in one word. Just had control over the whole show and kind of a little bit of an unsung hero, albeit that he was on air. I don't think people appreciated just what a genius this man is. So it's good that he's handing that genius down. Yeah,
So slick. Yeah. You don't realise actually technically how slick a good radio show needs to be. And my God, this man's slick.
Oh, yeah.
And also so kind and giving with his time. That's the one thing I really remember about Kim. He's changed a lot now, but when we worked together, just always there to help. And just a lovely guy you are, young Kim.
Too nice. We used to have people would often want to come and sit in the studio and do that, and I would say no. I'd be the bad guy. And there's one person I'm thinking of in particular that keeps reminding me of this. But I'd say no, you can't come in, because Kim was so nice that he would want to look after them and be nice to them, almost to the detriment of everyone listening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I was like,
too accommodating.
You'll be a distraction
Sure,
because Kim will look after them and worry that
yeah.
you're comfortable and all the rest. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like mother hen.
Yeah.
And I guess that's also why your show works so well, right?
Yeah, totally. Also why Kim got burgled so many times.
Yeah.
People would just turn up and go, do you mind if I come in? Yeah, by all means. Come in. Can I get you a coffee? I didn't want that TV. Oh, good.
What was the entire station like at that point? Because now you've got companies that have 500 stations each.
Yeah.
But then Ponsonby Road, you guys were pretty much a unit.
There was such a great team vibe. Larry Somerville did a great job of.
It was a family.
Creating
it was
that.
actually a real family.
It was fun to do, fun to go to, and when you finished your show, the sort of the enjoyment continued. Except for Hilary, who would leave straight away.
Hey, because
Other
I had
places.
another job to go to.
Oh, yeah, two jobs.
But you talk about the laughter and family. I never told the boss this for obvious reasons, but I would have done that job for free. I mean, honestly, we turning up, hanging out with good friends, having a laugh. I mean, I was being entertained by these guys every morning, hilarious, and it just set you up for the day. I left that building with a spring in my step, and then went off to my other job on the telly. And
I don't know how you did that.
It was so good. Well,
God.
because it probably wasn't being as creative. When you're just reading the news, it's not like you're writing it as well. I think if I'd had another creative job, that would have been pretty tough. But you guys were doing all the hard work. I was just turning up.
No, I don't know about that.
Sitting there and just.
I don't know about that.
You can't fake chemistry, can you?
No, you can't.
And you guys had that. You can still, you still got it now.
Yeah,
it's quite cool to sit here and just watch.
It's so cool and such a privilege to be here. And since I've started this job doing breakfast on More FM, I think about the history of the station and who's been before us, and it just gives me goosebumps right now to think that it was you guys, and it's so cool to be here. And another wonderful thing is that we've still got listeners that listen to our show currently, but listen to More FM Auckland 30 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's
amazing.
incredible.
They must be old.
Well, let's talk to Charlene. Good morning.
Gee, thanks, Jeremy.
So, Charlene, you're wonderful because you give us so much support every weekday morning with the current show, but you've been with More FM from day one.
Oh, no, actually, I have to agree. We saw Hilary I heard Hilary in a completely different light.
That's true.
She
Yes.
is funny as. And it was just incredible.
Score any prizes?
But yeah. No, my husband won a dishwasher with you guys. This is when you're up in the up the top of Simon Street there.
Oh, yeah.
Peace Tower.
And the Peace
Tower.
Yep. And he had to come in with 3 other guys blindfolded, and you'd caked all this food onto plates. And they had to wash each plate and then dry it, and whoever had the cleanest plates won the dishwasher.
Oh, what a great promo.
That's great.
Yes.
So that was brilliant. And the other thing that I absolutely loved, I think it was when you moved into the fire station, the old Ponsonby
In
fire
Ponsonby
station.
Road,
I
yeah.
followed you around, didn't I?
Didn't
I
you?
was like a stalker.
Stalky.
Sounds a bit like it.
It's good, though, because often Kiwi stalkers don't have the application that you do, Charlene. This is impressive.
I've been racking my brain to try and remember the name that you gave your little motorhome.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yeah.
That's
Obi-Wan,
right.
that was
We only just sold Obi-Wan.
Wow.
Obi-Wan's been with the company for ages. Just got rid of it recently.
Kim built that.
Yeah, because yeah. So I remember. It wasn't that I was stalking you again, but I remember getting on the motorway and it was like, oh my God, there it is in front of me.
Yes, yeah. I used to love that. We used to wave
Yeah, it was
to
great.
everyone. It was awesome, yeah.
And one of the conversations I remember hearing from you guys was Hilary used to always talk about her boys. And, she was always proud. And one of them times was when she was talking about how the boys had to make their own beds. And then you guys, quick as turned around and said, what? They had to make their own beds, nail them together, pieces of wood. And I can still remember that to today. It's just stuck in my head.
We were doing
need a base. We'll need a base. We'll need to start with the base.
We were doing dad jokes before they were even a thing. It's great. Yeah. Oh, good on you. That's so cool.
And I remember coming into the reception and a couple times there, and there was Paul sitting on there was couches just in the reception area.
Sounds like something
And
I'd do.
he had his minions or his entourage always around him, but he never seemed to do any work.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what Paul used to do in those days.
Sleep on the couch, probably.
Wow.
Thank goodness someone independent is saying it.
Finally,
Because people didn't believe it when we say it. 'Cause they're like, you've got a grudge.
I wonder where my minions went. I wish they were still here.
Oh, no, it's actually great hearing the 3 of you back on the airwaves. It's like it's just taken me right back again to the early 2000s and stuff, and yeah, it's terrific. And it did change a lot when Kim left.
Yep.
We won't go into that in detail.
For sure.
Yeah, I know that the new lot are great, but you guys are just incredible. I mean, you had me in stitches every day.
Oh, good on you.
It was brilliant.
That's so cool.
Charlene, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those memories with us all, because I'm sure that would have sparked a lot of memories for other people.
You won a dishwasher? No, you haven't. You haven't won a dishwasher.
Good on you, Charlene.
Bye.
Yeah,
See you.
Thank you. That must be so cool hearing people like that, like remembering just
Really
the
is.
tiniest little moments.
It is, because, I mean, you're doing it for the audience. As much as we enjoyed ourselves and had a laugh, I mean, you're very aware of who's listening, and when you hear stories like that of someone who's been listening to More FM for 30 years, you go, well, you know what? That's fantastic. That's who you're doing it for.
Yeah,
You just remembered everything, man.
Yeah. And we get that now. I mean, it's so much fun making each other laugh and knowing that you're making people laugh. But when you get that connection and you've really made a difference in someone's day, is a huge thing. We had a guy around our house last year just to fix some couch, a guy in his 60s, and he was saying he remembers listening to Kim and Corbett, him and his wife, every morning, and they were going through tough times, he said, and that was the one thing that would perk us up for the day and kind of give us a laugh and get us through. And it was, boy, it really got me, you know.
Yep.
I mean, to us, we're just kind of just being silly, you know. But
Yeah, I got that the other day. Someone saying, used to listen to you with Kim and Corbett. And I said, oh, that's great. She said, yeah, I was 7.
Well, when Charlene was talking about me talking about my kids,
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, I didn't have any kids when I started working with you guys.
True, when you started, that
and then
all
I,
happened.
had babies, and they were toddlers, and then
Same
it's
with Paul,
such a long time ago. They've all left
exactly.
home now.
well, a message there, everybody that works with Kim and Corbett gets pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah. That just goes to show, like 30 years. I was 3 years old when you guys started.
Yeah, okay,
Let's
mate.
stop this
All
game.
right,
That's
Adam.
enough of this game.
That's not fun anymore.
Sorry. Is there anything else that you would like to add to each other, or any other moments or memories that sort of come to mind?
No, it's just the best team I've ever worked with.
was
Each
good
of
fun.
these individually massively talented people, so much fun. And it was really was a highlight in my broadcasting career. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Here.
for me too.
Yep, totally agree.
Pretty awesome.
I also
People-
quite liked it.
Well, you came back.
My new family's here. I've got to be careful, guys.
Charlene doesn't like you, does she?
She doesn't. Apparently, I had minions. I don't know who my minions
Well, not
were.
only that, but then she said, I used to love listening to the three of you. Oh, yeah. There as well.
I'm not giving her that dishwasher, I'll tell you that much.
No.
Keep it.
And then outside of the radio space, I'm interested to hear about this, because Jeremy and Hilary, you guys are big-time competitors in the TV market now at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, our
Are
prime
we?
time TV slots.
Apparently we are.
I'm not aware
Do you-
anything else is on.
Yeah, this is an unknown thing, really.
I was going to say, do your bosses know that you're
They don't.
both there?
That's quite funny, because I've had occasions where I'll be on air, and for some other reason, it doesn't happen often, but we might even text each other during the ads.
Yeah,
during
we've
the
done that,
ads.
yeah.
We've done that. And in my head, I'm thinking, I wonder if the bosses at TV3 or TVNZ realise that
There's a
the
bond.
opposing presenters of this show are texting each other during their shows. It's very funny. And, I've had, Jeremy said to me, oh, I'm so excited, I'm off to, interview ... And, of course, we're all in competition to get these big interviews. And I'm just so thrilled for him that he's going to, and, you keep stum about these things, and people at the office are going, well, we tried to get an interview with such and such. And I'm like, oh, we never. To myself, I'm thinking, well, I know we haven't got it because Jeremy's off to interview them next week. But, you just sort of respect where the lines of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Like Jesse and Kanoa, they know that, and I'll often share the texts with them, so they are aware that we're in touch. But I do want to go back to something Charlene said, which is I thought was really a cool point. Was Hilary was the straight newsreader on TV News, and not many people knew that she has this wonderful sense of humour.
Yeah.
People who listen to More FM knew. And so there was no, when you move to 7 Sharp, I guess, and doing a more general sort of entertainment with the funnies and the rest of it, people are like, wow, Hilary's funny. It was no surprise to any of us that you're going to smash it.
Oh, that's really nice. But I mean, a lot of that humour, I kind of learned how to hone it through you guys.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
This has been heaps of fun, guys. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it's been magic.
Thank you.
There couldn't have been a better way to celebrate 30 years of More FM Auckland without having you guys here. So this has been so special, and I hope everyone goes through and listens to the podcast again and keeps all those memories alive, because I just feel like this is one of those stations, Paul will tell you, people come back, man.
Well, maybe we'll come back too. I mean, if you guys just want to move on to something else, you just give us a call because this has been fun. Has this actually been a secret audition for a new radio show? Because I'm into it.
The one thing I'd do is I'd get rid of the cameras because that's what I enjoy about radio, is not having to put makeup on and all the rest of it.
And look, I'm going to be shuffled off from TV sometime soon. So are you, Jeremy. Let's face it. So we're looking for a radio job to just sort of ease into our retirement.
You will choose when you leave TV, Hilary. No one is going to make Hilary leave until she wants to.
No way.
Speaking of the cameras, I just do want to point out, Jeremy, this T-shirt.
Yes. That's a Kim Corbett CAC and is based on what was the Calvin Klein logo at the time.
That's so clever.
So, yeah, we turned it round. I had a bunch of T-shirts at home and I was like, oh, which one shall I wear? Which one shall I wear? Yeah, I've still got the old studio set up in one of the spare rooms. I go in there and do the show. And got a little cardboard cut out of these guys. I've never really let it go.
Do you do all the jingles yourself? Go, Kim Corbett in the morning. Oh, thanks, jingle guy. Jeremy Corbett here.
I do remember this. That's not really a downer, but it's a funny thing that happened, and it was at one of the TV3 events where they were saying what their next, the next year's program. You got it. And we were all there, and this is long after we'd been split up, and Hilary had been taken away, and Paul had been taken away, and then Kim was taken away as well. And I forget who we were talking to. It was one of the reasonably high ups in what was Media Works at the time, and the four of us were chatting, and this other person,
who it was.
And they said, "Geez, you guys we should get you together on a radio show. You'd be great on a radio show." And we were like, "No shit."
You know who that was?
I have a feeling I know who that was too.
Yeah, it was the highest person at that time.
Oh, okay.
MW?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not Media Works either.
Not Media Works.
Not Media Works.
Yeah. So tuned in.
Around the time you left, wasn't it, Hilary?
It was all around a similar time.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do a podcast on that.
Well, I think we should wrap this up. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, because your time is so precious. And I know people listening right now will be so stoked to take this trip down memory lane and just go back in time and just celebrate those wonderful 30 years.
You're a pro, Adam. I'll be listening.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a More FM listener.
So it's people like Charlene who have been there the whole time that have actually kept it going as well.
Normally 10 to 8, the quiz is when we're in. And
the pop quiz, you like that?
And that's when the kids are coming in to get their breakfast, and Megan and I are like, shush, shush, shush. And the kids are like, we're your children.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. I don't think I've got 10 out of 10 yet.
Well, when you do, come back and get a job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been lovely to get together.
It's been great.
Wake up with a laugh with Lana, Adam and Paul on More FM.